So I was about 5 for 8 on predictions. Some of these series I called, some of them I really didn't see coming. It's a wrap-up of the first round, and a look into the second round. Let's get to it. The Capitals rally and win the final 2 games to take the Rangers in Game 7. This one I predicted, but I predicted it to go in 5. I really didn't see the Capitals having a lot of trouble with New York. Now this series was exciting, with Tortorella inspiring his troops, getting into fights with the fans, and with Avery's antics just making New York a teeter-totter throughout the series. They looked like they had a chance to win it at one point, going up 3-2 on the Capitals. But in the end, Ovechkin, Semin, and crew were able to come back from a 2-game deficit and win it. I'm glad the Caps won it, because to see a team with Ovechkin, Semin, and Mike Green on it lose to the New York Rangers would be a total choke. The only way it could be a bigger choke is if a team with Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, Jonathan Cheechoo, and Evgeny Nabokov lost to a team that barely made it into the playoffs. But I'm getting ahead of myself. New Jersey versus Carolina. Carolina pulls a surprising upset from 2 games down over the New Jersey Devils, and that last game was a heart-stopper. The New Jersey Devils are in the 3rd period sporting a 3-2 lead, and I'm thinking, okay, Martin Brodeur will stop them all, and it'll be over. But in the final minute and 20 seconds, Jussi Jokinen scores the tying goal. And so I'm thinking, overtime? Then we have Eric Stahl streaking in the final 30 seconds to score the go-ahead. New Jersey pulls Brodeur and tries to get the tire, but it's over. And the Carolina Hurricanes pull a surprising and thrilling upset. I couldn't believe it, but Carolina has made it into the second round. Wow. Let's go on to the West and talk about the biggest upset of the postseason so far. Anaheim, the 8th seed, takes out San Jose in 6. Now, I did not see this happening in my wildest dreams. I gotta give credit to Angusaholic and Leaf Fan Big D on YouTube for calling an upset. I didn't see it happening because the Sharks had a cast of all-stars. They had Joe Thornton, Jonathan Cheechoo, Patrick Marleau, Evgeny Nabokov, and many others, and they looked like the team to beat. But in the postseason, the Sharks repeat their choking act of last season and blow it. In the end, the Sharks just fell apart against the Ducks. I mean, I was totally shocked by this. Here's what my reaction was. They won the first... Okay. Sharks will recover. It's okay. They'll come back. They just need a wake-up call. Both games at the Shark Tank were losses? Okay. No biggie. They'll pull out a couple of wins in Anaheim, and things will be back on track. Okay, alright, they won their first game. All they need to do is win the next one, and we're solid. They're on the brink of elimination? Are you kidding me? Okay, I guess they can get it back on track. Just one more win and we're even. In the end, the Sharks fizzle against the Ducks, and Vancouver fans are overjoyed. With that win, Detroit faces Anaheim in the second round, and Vancouver faces Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, Chicago takes out Calgary in 6 games. Now, I called this series, but I said it would be in 7 games. Chicago decided to take Calgary out in Calgary's territory, and with that, the Flames are finished. Now you could sense the disappointment from Mike Keenan, Iginla, and a bunch of the other Calgary stars, but I think everyone expected Kiprusoff to play a bit better than he has. He carried them through the regular season, but something happened, and he wasn't as phenomenal as he usually is. Either way, Chicago takes out Calgary, and now there's only one Canadian team left to rely on. Go Canucks! Now let's get on to some round 2 predictions, and let's start it off in the East. Boston versus Carolina. Carolina surprised the New Jersey Devils, but I don't see them doing so against Boston. Boston is the team to beat in the East, and although Carolina did pull an upset over the Devils, they need 7 games to do so, and Boston's a much better team. It's going to be Boston in 6. Washington versus Pittsburgh. With this, the Ovechkin-Crosby rivalry continues. This will be the first Ovechkin-Crosby meetup in the postseason, and I'm interested to see how it'll turn out. Now this one should be an interesting series. I see it being close, but in the end, I'm going to say that Ovechkin and the Caps pull it out. What separates these two teams is their performance this season. I mean, the Capitals have been playing well all season long, and conversely, Pittsburgh has been underachieving. I mean, at one point, last year's Stanley Cup finalists were in danger of missing the playoffs. Now, things did turn around when they hired coach Dan Bylsma, but I still think that the Capitals will have the edge here. So I see this going to 7 games, but I'm going to give it to the Caps. Let's move on to the West. First series, Detroit versus Anaheim. Now, Detroit easily manhandled the Blue Jackets, but Anaheim did pull up an upset over the first-seeded team. Ultimately, though, I think the Sharks just collapsed in the postseason, and although Anaheim does deserve credit for taking them out, I think Detroit is just too big for them. Even with Teemu Selanne, Scott Niedermayer, and the surprising play of Jonas Hiller, I think the Ducks don't stand a chance. This series is going to be a Red Wings victory in 6. Canucks versus Chicago. Now this series should be interesting. Canucks did close out the season in 3rd place because they won the Northwest Division. But if you look at Chicago, they had a better regular season record than the Canucks did. So, who's going to win this one? I mean, you can make a case for both sides. You have Kane and Taves and a whole bunch of young talent on the Blackhawks versus Luongo, the Sedins, Sundin, and a whole cast of others on the Canucks. Now, Luongo really was a difference maker in the first series. Without him, the Canucks still probably would have won, but it wouldn't have been in 4 games. So I see Luongo playing a huge part again in this next series. Now, without a doubt, the Canucks have been able to step up their play in the postseason, so I see them taking Chicago as well. We're going to put this one at 6 games. Chicago will win a game or 2 at home, but I think the Canucks are just too big and they'll be taking this one. So those are my predictions. I'd appreciate if you all could throw me a subscription on YouTube, even if you're watching this on LeafSpace, and let me know what you think. And if you don't agree with me, post a video. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Oh, and if anybody's watching this on LeafSpace, check out LeafsFan71's profile. He's planning a patio party on May 9th at Wayne Gretzky's. Check us out. I'll be there. Hockey Girl 13 will be there. Chancellor will be there. And a whole bunch of other of the LeafSpace A-list will be there. So check us out. Alright, I'll see you in about a week with a round 2 update. Peace.